Hey, what's good, folks? Welcome back to the Caster. Last week, we said goodbye to Patrick and his fancy shoes. Out with the old and in with the new. That's something you got to get used to as an esports commentator. New games come out like every week, and you just got to roll with it. Pick up a game, learn it real quick, and be able to deliver. That's the job of an esports commentator. This week, our contestants will be put to the test with a card game. A little bit different than the action games you're kind of used to when you think video games, but that's what it's all about, learning new things. We're going to see who's got the ace and who will fold here on the Caster. What's good, and welcome to Battle and Brew. This is Atlanta's favorite nerd watering hole. We've got your next mini challenge up, and it's something different. And to introduce that to you, I got my man Adonis here.
Hey contestants, welcome to the next challenge you're going to be undertaking, and that is the Hand of the Gods Deck Building Challenge. You've already done challenges on the other titles Hi-Rez Studios presents, which is Smite and Paladins. Our latest game, Hand of the Gods, though, it is a tactical card game, so it's going to be a little bit of mix-up, and you're going to have a different style for this. Today, you're going to be building a deck inside the game. I'm going to be judging you on two criterias. One, the quality of the deck. I hope you've come prepared and played a little bit of the game. And secondly, how well you can sell it to me. Those are two very important factors when casting in esports, and good luck to you all on it.
All right, guys, we'll see if y'all have the tactics for it. Let's get building.
I'm so sick of being passive. I was really passive the first day, but today, Rabies, no more being passive. I'm feeling really aggressive.
I'm really trying to focus on just slowing things down. Like even now, I'm consciously thinking, keep it slow, keep it calm.
Five, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Gabrielle, so what deck did you end up making in Hand of the Gods?
So I ended up actually going for an aggro Odin deck, and the reason for this was because the meta is in a constantly evolving state. I think one of the safer tactics is to go for something that's going to be a bit quicker, a bit more consistent each time, as opposed to maybe if you're in ladder, something control could work well, you have a bit of time to experiment, but you're only facing a couple choices per turn with an aggro deck as opposed to something else or an OTK where it's much more combo reliant. My experience comes from a tactical card game, so everyone else seemed to think that I was going to be really strong in it. I was worried about how that knowledge would translate, but in the end it translated pretty well.
All right, Raby, show me what you got for this challenge.
All right, brother. I'm going with a new meta deck that people have been running lately. I actually found it online, and I just took a really big liking to it. It's called the Sobek with OP in the middle. All right, so this deck is actually formulated around the Ra champion, and it's just exactly as it says. Sobek, one of the strongest gods in the game right now, only a 2-cost champion, and he's able to get +1/+1 every time a team member is healed. Go for the square formation build on the board. Okay, you drop the Sobek, you drop the, sorry, where is it here? You drop the Decrepit Bowman. As soon as that breaks up into 2, and then you hit him with the Wombo, the meditation. The win conditions are pretty simple. You can either push down the pylons, or you can...
Sorry, what are pylons?
I'm sorry, the two, what do they call the two new, sorry, I call them pylons, the two new wards there.
Summoning stones?
Summoning stones. Thank you so much. The summoning stones. But you can either go for the summoning stones, but this deck also has a ton of clear.
Come a long way since I last really took a good in-depth look at it, but I was able to pick up really quickly from where I'd last been in, and I think I came up with a pretty decent deck for it, so. All right, so again, I was looking around this Nox idea, having a look and seeing on ladder a lot of aggro. I've gone to try and get as much value, stall out, and then try and just sort of steamroll through the late game. Mercenary early along with Demoralize helps try and keep that just down a little bit as well, Psychons of Doom. Being able to just get that +1 helps trade up any of the minions that I do get on board early. It's trying to just hold on for that earlier point in the game.
I see you went Roam. We've actually seen a couple Roam decks already. Why Roam over other Pantheons? What was your focus? Why was your emphasis on this style of deck?
The main thing that I went to the Roam and I looked through a lot of the cards and I'd sort of been able to pick out this idea. I've seen a lot of potential with this deck, and so looking over it, another one I was going to go for was the Afterlife idea with Isis. Again, this same idea, get as much value as possible. You've got the 4-mana 0/1, when it dies, spawn a 5/5, get that back to your hand, play it again.
Do you know what that card's called?
I want to say it's a Tomb Warden or something along those lines. So you've got that coming in, and you really just want to try and get value. I've always been a value player when playing card games, so this, to me, feels like something that I'm more familiar and comfortable with trying to sell to.
All right, thanks, Blur.
You're welcome.
You got a chance to take a look at everybody, how they stack up.
I've got comments for 4 of the contestants here today. We're going to start in the back with John. Your deck was terrible. It was terrible, but you were very quick to react when I asked you questions, no hesitation. You're able to defend your deck well. Blur, seems like you did a decent amount of research on the game. I could be wrong, or you're just very quick to intake the information. The only issue is you were just kind of reading stuff to me. It was one after the other, just like card A, card B, which it's great if you want to make a deck guide, but if you're casting to people, it's just gonna go on and on and on. You need to find ways to mix up what you're saying and not just read off what's on the screen right there. Rabies, you did phenomenal, actually. You seemed to know what you were talking about relating to the cards. You kind of knew a lot of terms relating to card games. I know you're a fighting game caster, so it's kind of a different world for you, but you clearly came prepared. You had one big mix-up, though. Saying pylons wasn't even that bad. You say stuff, every once in a while you're gonna say the wrong word, it's not that big of a deal, but you just stonewalled. You had no idea how to recover quick enough. Stuff is gonna go wrong. You're gonna say the wrong thing, your co-commentator's gonna say the wrong thing. You just need to be able to roll with that and recover quickly. That's the only spot where you failed. You definitely would have been a front runner to win this had that stumble not happened. Gabrielle, you are the winner of this challenge. Obviously, your duelist experience, I think, came in very strong here. You sold me the deck very well. You described a strategy going straight in. It wasn't rambling. It was talking about the different mechanics you had, the different options you had in your deck as well. So congratulations.
Congratulations to Gabriella. Because you win the mini challenge, that means you're completely immune. You get to chill for the rest of the day. Everybody else, your main challenge will be, I'll tell you back at the studio. We'll see you in a few.
Feels pretty good winning the mini challenge. I personally think it's the best prize for a mini challenge so far. Immunity feels pretty cool.
Thankfully, Adonis did give me a little credit for, for at least going in confidently and, sort of defending the choices I made. So I feel like it wasn't all bad.
So we just saw our contestants be the players. They built a deck. Now it's time for them to actually be the caster. When it comes down to it, Hand of the Gods is a much different feel. I mean, we watched Smite and Paladins judges, so what are you looking for here with this card game?
Well, for me in particular, anyone who knows me knows that I don't come from a TCG background. So I want to learn. I want the casters to actually teach me. But also from a technical perspective, I want to see if like some of the things we've been telling them to apply have been applied, like, the filler words and stuff like that. And pacing is going to be my most important thing.
For me, it's a slow game, a lot slower than Smite and Paladins, so I want to see them make me entertained and excited by it, which I think is going to be very difficult.
Because Tactics is such a new game, it's very, very tricky for them to work out exactly how to cast this one. It should be more of a conversation, more of a story between the two, and I'd like to keep an eye on how they develop the story, as well as the information they provide us on the broadcast as well.
Yeah, you guys are right. It's really about a conversation, but at the same time, I gotta be excited. I gotta stay engaged. Do they have it? We'll take a look right here at the main challenge. Today, our contestants will try their hand at something new. They'll have to cast a game of Hand of the Gods. It's different than the action games, so they'll have to feel out the pacing of a card game, and they'll have to teach the basics of a brand new experience. As I said before, not an action game, so you'll have to use your conversation and information to entertain instead of relying on the game itself. And of course, the game is edited, so contestants will have to make sure not to get jumbled up when they see a cut or jump in the action. This time around, contestants have to be on their top game. 2 people are leaving, not just 1.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Smite Tactics here. It looks like we've got a Roman deck here with Bellona as a leader. I believe that's their only option currently. And then an Egyptian deck here that's got Ra as their leader. Now, starting it off, we'll just cover, I think, the most important thing here about these decks. With Ra, I believe for his leader ability, he is able to heal. I think it's 1 within a specific target area, if that's correct.
You are absolutely correct.
Right.
You know, Ra is very defensive. He's gonna pop those heals. Maybe we're gonna see some meditation. I don't know.
But that's Sobek strategy again.
Yeah, the Sobek strategy.
Well,
you know,
because that Sobek strategy just works. For those of you who don't know, Sobek, whenever an ally is going to be healed, he gains +1/+1. So
Yes.
trying to be able to get some board pressure and then go in for that doesn't necessarily look like it's going to be that. But we do see some Magma Slam. So a couple later cards right now for this Ra, pulling it back a little bit.
he talks a lot. He doesn't pass the ball. He's not very cooperative, but not because he doesn't want to. He wants to. The problem he's just a solo caster.
Yeah, and it used to be, I mean, if you haven't played the Hand of the Gods in a while, it used to be you had to kill the enemy leader. Well, it's not quite the case anymore. You have these 2 summoning stones on the side, and those are your real targets. You want to get those down before the game ends. That's your main objective.
You're absolutely right. You are 100% correct again. And so let me take a look here. We have the Bellona, right? She's positioning herself in the middle of the map, and she's trying to press that advantage. However, we see the Ra deck playing a little bit more of a turtle style. Normally commentating, especially when I do play-by-play, it's much faster and it's much more engaged. But playing Smite Hand of the Gods, Smite Tactics, it really forces you to slow it down, and actually going fast could be a hindrance to you.
What they're doing so well is that Bellona, with that late and from mid-game control, he can completely take away your side of the battleground. He can completely take away your spawn zones. If he's sitting there right next to your summoning stones, it's like he's paying rent at that point.
And it makes the cards he draws less valuable, absolutely, because you're not going to be able to put them into as strong of a position based on what he said. But I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's as if he's in your house, he's in your fridge, he's sort of rifling through it at this point. He's really sort of moved in on his space. I agree.
If he stays any longer on this side of the map and he keeps pushing forward, he's not getting any retaliation because he's getting those first moves, he's getting those kills, not getting any reverse damage back to him.
Right.
He doesn't even have to pay rent anymore.
Still 0 damage, you know, on those summoning stones. Brad actually didn't lose that much time, and the situation just reset. Okay, we have a reset right now. The Cupid is coming up probably for Bellona, and that's an important card. You know, Cupid has the ability to trade 2 for 1 because of his passive.
Why would you play the Cupid on this board if you haven't got anything to be able to do it? I like the call for the Bellona to just come down right now.
Yeah.
You can still even use. We want to be able to. If you're going to be running this Bellona, you want to be making use of this. That heal, or sorry, that +2/+2.
Yes.
Help keep those minions. Get that 3/2 into a 3/4. Really get those stronger trades in. Whether or not we're going to see anything else come down, we could see that Tactician come in. You know, just maybe do a little bit more damage right now.
I think Sobek is that burly roommate that kind of keeps someone from coming in and mooching off of you a little bit, and he didn't have Sobek there to sort of flex a little bit, so that's why he was able to sort of come in and you know, take all the food out of his fridge so well. Again, that range damage for Cupid is so strong, but Anubis able to return it, so it is a trade here, but I think that trade is far and away in favor of Stoof at this point.
As you can see, they're getting so much damage on those summoning stones. It's already down to 06. Ra's not there to heal. He has literally no units on the board.
Well, there's that Sobek. I think we might say a little bit too late here at this point, right? I wanted to mention as well, we saw Giannis drop in here for our Roman side. Giannis is another powerful card. I believe a newer card as well, is that correct?
He's a newer card, and he's very, very strong, especially in late game when you know that the opponent is just looking for that one draw. You can essentially make sure that they do not get that one draw.
That cast was honestly the most fun I've had of all 3 of my casts. My extensive casting experience, that was extremely fun.
You know, that 5 that execute is, I mean, it will help him out in this situation, but you really want to get your gods and minions on the board to kind of defend from this, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to summon more than 1
Correct.
his next turn.
You are correct about that. Brilliant point. And once again, you know, let's say he executes a minion, right? Let's say he executes the highest minion, the 3 damage Roman guard there in the front. He could play that card. He's only down to 5 mana first. He can't play any of his 6 minions, and he has his 2 minion, which he could drop down, but it won't be enough. All the damage is right here on the board. This is looking like a victory in favor of Stu.
Yeah, I can definitely see that coming up here pretty darn quick, especially as we're getting towards the bottom of the deck. We have only 6 cards left in each deck. It's coming down to the wire here. Somebody's gonna have to make a move.
but that's just not it. Right now, a little bit of protection on those Summoning Stones. Sobek is coming up, and Execute is still ready for, eventually maybe some Bellona's top deck, but yeah.
Oh, Mercenary comes out. That is a lot of damage coming out. Mercenary Warcry gains +1/+1 for every other unit that I believe is around your hero leader or your war leader. So it's also got charge as well. So this is going to be probably the game swing right now.
Honestly, he got a very, very bad hand to begin with. That Sobek,
rough, yeah.
It's very, very important to snowball that, but he did not have that mechanic, and that's honestly one of the most important raw mechanics in this
I don't
deck.
believe he had any gods in his opening hand, did he? I don't believe so. I don't know if you recall that early, but yeah, things look difficult. That bottom Summoning Stone has been taken care of here, and it looks like that is going to call it in favor of Stoof.
And Bellona's passive is phenomenal. +2 health, and she can give that to any one of her minions.
Yeah, +2 health to, to all the minions that she's summoning that turn as they come in, and that will be game.
That will be the game, and Stoof played it perfectly. He took the victory. Thank you for tuning in.
He and I agreed that play-by-play was not going to be very, very important. It was going to be a lot of banter and conversation. I think that me having that chemistry with somebody is super, super important, and I think I did a great job. I know that I also think that he did a great job, so I think together we 100%.
Went pretty good, I guess, but maybe this time is definitely it. I'm going into the chopping block and my heads will fall off.
Well, after a long time, the judges have finally figured out who's going to be on top and the bottom. Let's say hi to our contestants.
Okay. Merlo, step forward.
Knowledge was on the weaker side again. It did feel a little bit weaker, and you tried to cover that with excitement and passion, which is the right sort of thing to do. But like you said, the lack of knowledge kind of showed today.
Go ahead and take a step back for the time being. Supersonic Blur, please come on down. Let's just cut to the chase here. Again, it was one of those very similar to Paladin's cast. It was good. It wasn't amazing. It wasn't bad. It was just good. At what point, when are you going to impress us, man?
When your co-caster makes a mistake, how do you correct a mistake of a co-caster? Do you throw them under the bus? That's like a cardinal sin in casting of like, if your co-caster makes a mistake, you're there to cover and support. You are not there to rip them apart and make yourself look good in the process, because it shows that you've got more knowledge than him. It's almost boastful. It's not necessarily a good thing to have. I will say though that your knowledge in that game was fantastic.
Very, very, very knowledgeable on the game, and that came off in the cast, and that was actually a huge positive for me. So take a step back if you don't mind. We got the legendary John Finch. You've never casted before, and for a guy who's never done it, and the way that you just blend with your co-caster is amazing. Like, that is just something you cannot teach. That is natural freaking ability. Like, I cannot praise you anymore for that. It's good. Feel free to take a step back. All right, top memer himself, Ron Jobert, come on down. I'm gonna be very blunt with you, and I'm gonna tell you that one day, somehow, some way, I am going to commentate with you. I want to. You are a funny dude. You have like that personality. You have those moments of brilliance when you cast. And again, just to know that you've never commentated before, it's just something that blows my freaking mind. And yeah, one day you and I will work together. Take a step back.
Thank you very much. Based on their constructive criticism and how positive they were to me, I'm just so happy right now.
Ron the Dwarf, come on down.
You weren't sure whether your knowledge was correct or not. And that showed throughout the broadcast consistently. Because every time you were stuttering with the ers and ums, which you know yourself are not classic things to be using on a broadcast, you were using them as crutches because you were not sure and confident in what you were saying. The moments in the cast where you were definitely sure about what you were talking about were fantastic because you cleaned all that up and there was no ers, ums, and stutters. But the moments you weren't 100% sure about yourself is the exact moment where you struggled. Following that, what he said earlier about Ron Jobert, me and you are definitely going to cast together at some point.
Yeah.
Because I think it'll be a really entertaining cast, and I'll actually look forward to doing that with you.
Excellent.
Take a step back. Okay, and last but certainly not least, Rabies, step up.
I think I did really well. I slowed it down. The thing the judges keep talking to me about are my interjections and my rebuttal words. So I've been mixing them up. I'm trying to follow their education.
It was a great open. You were calm, which I didn't know you could be. You were funny. You helped your teammate out a lot. The only issue that I had is that it kind of sounded like you weren't listening to your teammate. Anything that Rog said, you would say, totally agree with that, 100%, and then you wouldn't add anything to it. You also had hype, which no one else really brought. There were some people that would bring up a little bit more entertaining cast, but you were the only one that brought a level of hype, and it was an appropriate level of hype. I really like that.
Thank you. I've been trying to really listen to what you guys say, hang on to every word. I want to improve.
How much time did you put into Hand of Gods?
That was my first ever game of Hand of Gods.
But as far as playing?
I played one game.
What about research though? Research for the cards and things, because you clearly had research into that.
Actually, I just watched. Sorry, I don't know the top Smite. Deathwalker. Yeah, I watched his stream 10 minutes before we did the first challenge, and that was about it.
Wait, are you serious?
Would not have guessed that
I've never
at
played
all.
my tactics before.
That'd be more surprised.
I was a top Yu-Gi-Oh player when I was 14 before I started doing gaming, and that's kind of just where the TCG knowledge came from.
All right, guys. So as you heard, we will be eliminating 2 people. Before we get into the eliminations, I kind of want to repeat what I said before. This competition did not expect, especially this round, did not expect it to be as close as it was. And I'm super impressed by everyone. Once again, I'm going to say this. I'm going to keep repeating it because I really do want to see fresh faces in the space. Please, whatever you do, to whoever stays, whoever goes, whatever the case may be, do not stop, because everyone here has ability and it is incredible. That being said, Ron and John step forward. Gentlemen, one of you are the winner. And one of you is safe. So the winner is Ron Jobber.
There it is.
John Finch, it was incredibly close.
Yeah.
And if we look at the first half of the game, it goes to Ron Jobber. If we look at the second half of the game, it would have gone to you. Yeah. You guys were both phenomenal, but Ron Jobber had a little bit of an edge.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
All right. Will Rabies and Rog please step forward? Rabies, I think you heard it from us. We thought you did really well, even in a game that we didn't expect you to do very well. Rog, I think a few of us had expectations out of you, with one of the only people having professional broadcasting experience, and you just never really impressed us. You stayed just in the middle throughout all of the challenges that we've seen. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Rabies, you did relatively poorly at the start of it, to the point where I wanted to send you home, and now you're one of my favorite people here.
Thank you.
You've grown, you've shown growth, and Rog, I'm sorry, but I don't see any growth from you, and you will be going home. So, Rabies, that means you're safe?
Thank you so much.
One thing that you really let down on, I feel, and someone who works in the industry for a while now, research is so important before you go live and do these things. And I feel like you've had adequate time compared to the rest as well to get that in place. And if, with your background knowledge as well, you should know how much research is important to you when you go live with these things. The fact that some of these guys pulled it off, and we thought they'd done lots of research and they hadn't, and you couldn't do that, it's why this decision is the way it is.
Yeah. Thank you, though.
Thank you guys for the opportunity. I can definitely see where they're coming from, and you know, with my experience, I should have done a little more homework on tactics. I knew that was my weak point, and I should have spent some more time on it.
And then there were 2. Oh, my favorite 2 as well. Step forward, boys. The EU powerhouses you called yourselves earlier today. I gave you both negatives today, and I think you both did interesting on the cast. I think together you worked well. Supersonic?
Yeah.
I think your performance over the course of the tournament has been average.
That's not good enough.
I think it's been average, and the one thing you fall into is the classic English problem of English casters are all known for the same voice, and the personality has to come through.
And it hasn't.
That being said though, Give me some personality. We're going to keep you in.
We know you have personality. We want to see it. We see it outside of the cast. You got to bring it into the cast.
Thank you.
Merlo, sadly, obviously, with that, you are going to be eliminated here. But I do want to say, as an Italian and the passion there, you saw me on day one, boy.
Thanks.
But as the same thing with Rog from my point of view, knowledge is important.
Knowledge is key.
You know you're going to be commentating video games. If what games you're commentating, you've got to try and put the research in, or at least look like you know what you're talking about and have the confidence there.
Can I say one thing?
Of course you can.
Please.
Thanks. I mean, this was a one-time chance of opportunity. I mean, it was just amazing. I just needed that, you know. I needed confirmation. Marlo, you can do both English and Italian casting, and I'm just going back into my country, okay? But yeah, we'll see each other next year.
We better. We
will see each other next year.
You keep working on it.
Dude, keep that passion, man, and keep those sham wows. We might have been giving you a little bit of
all
but it
about
made
the
us
swagger,
smile
you know?
every time.
Yeah.
Really did.
Thanks again. It was really important for me. Well, time to hit the stage. Yeah, I'm feeling great. I feel fine. Man, what a ride, I know. It was incredible. I feel so confident going back to Italy right now. I can take any challenge.
The $10,000 would have been nice, but it's been such an awesome opportunity to come here and meet everybody and make all these great connections and hang out at High Res, and it's been awesome. Really, it's been an awesome opportunity. It sucks that I'm not going to be on the show anymore, but hey, I'm here in Atlanta. I'm hanging out at my favorite game studio. I really can't complain.
Everything felt great. I learned a bunch of stuff. I'm gonna use this newfound knowledge to just improve my situation and also to set up a pretty high bar in Italy, you know? We're so far behind, and this is all pure, complete esport knowledge from one of the best companies in the world, and I'm just lucky, man. I'm just so pumped up.
Today we say goodbye to a seasoned veteran and a man with so much passion he almost couldn't contain it. We're down to 5, and honestly, the small things are making the difference. We have 5 casters left, but now we need to find the caster. We'll find out next time here on The Caster. Hey, what's up, folks? Tom Battinger here. On behalf of everybody that took part, thanks for watching The Caster. We really appreciate it. But if you want to dig even deeper and find behind-the-scenes action, some commentary, and all the other fun stuff, check out The Caster's YouTube page, youtube.com/TheCasterShow. We definitely appreciate it, and we'll see you later.